Good morning, boys and girls. We're going to go over another OAA passage together today. So, just like always, you need to make sure you have your red pen out. Follow along as I read the passage. Then we'll go back and check all of the questions together. If you get a question wrong on the multiple choice, circle the number and fill in the blank next to the correct answer with your red pen. If you get an answer incorrect on the extended response, those 2 and 4 point questions, simply just circle it, but don't write anything. Remember, we go through pretty quickly, so be sure to pause the recording when you need to stop it to write anything down or circle anything or check back and check an answer. All right, here we go. Horseshoes by Earl M. Weber. For hundreds of years, horses, mules, and even oxen have been shod with iron shoes. A horseshoe is usually shaped like a U and forged to fit the horse's hoof. A mule shoe is similar but longer and narrower, since that's the shape of a mule's hoof. Because the ox has 2 toes instead of 1, it must have 2 shoes for each foot, a left and a right. These animals never wore shoes when they were in the wild, so why is it necessary now? There are several answers. Before the animals were domesticated, they didn't have to carry heavy loads on their backs, such as a knight in full armor and weapons, weighing 400 or 500 pounds. Now, nor were they asked to put heavy loads like a wagon load of hay weighing several tons. And when they roamed free, they didn't travel miles on hard roads that wear down hooves. Shoes are necessary then to protect the animal's feet and provide better traction when pulling loads. Oops, move this over. Before the days of automobiles and 18-wheel trucks, horses were used to transport people and goods. Teams of 4 to 6 large horses pulled stagecoaches and heavy freight wagons. Horses, mules, and oxen were used on farms to plow fields and harvest crops. In cities and towns, horses pulled milk wagons and bread wagons through the streets. With so many hoofs needing shoes, blacksmith shops were everywhere. The blacksmith, with his forge and anvil, did all kinds of work with iron. He made the repairing implements for farm and home. He also made horseshoes and nailed them on horses' feet. People would bring their horses to the blacksmith shop to have them fitted with new shoes. Because horses' hoofs grow, much like our fingernails, the horses needed to have their hoofs trimmed and their shoes refitted about every 2 months. Children gathered at the blacksmith shop to watch the smith as he placed an iron bar in the coals of this forge and pumped the bellows until the iron was red hot. Using tongs, he took the hot iron from the fire and held it on the anvil. As the smith hit the iron with his heavy hammer, the anvil rang like a bell and sparks flew like fireworks. When the shoe was properly shaped, the smith plunged it in a tub of water. The hot iron sizzled and steamed when it hit the cold water. Today, most farmers use modern tractors instead of horses or mules. However, people still own horses. Most horses are no longer the heavy draft horses of the past, but lighter breeds used for pleasure riding. Horse shows, jumping events, rodeos, and train riding are all popular sports. And horses who take part in these activities still need shoes. Just as athletes need specialized footwear, horses need the right shoes to do their jobs well. After all, they are athletes too. Racehorses wear flat, lightweight shoes called racing plates. Horses that have to use paved roads wear special shoes that prevent tripping. Okay, let's go ahead and start the questions. Here's our word bank up at the top. Breeds means types, and domesticated are tamed to live with or be owned by a human. Question 15. The set of details is from the selection. Details. Horses transport people and goods. Horses, mules, and oxen plowed fields. Horses pulled milk and bread wagons. Which main idea is supported by the set of details above? Okay, we already have our details here, so we don't need to look back in the passage. Let's read these main ideas and see which one fits. A, before the days of automobiles, horses and mules did not need horseshoes. I don't see anything about that up here. B, before the days of automobiles, horses and mules had many jobs. Okay, well, these look like some jobs that horses and mules had. C, people would not have survived without horses. I don't really see anything about surviving. Or D, people would have had to work much harder without horses. Well, that's true. But these, I'm going to look. I see transporting people and horses and goods, horses and mules and oxen plow fields. Horses pulled milk and bread wagons. Looks like all jobs that horses would have had. So let's go ahead and mark our answer. The answer is B. These are all jobs that horses and mules had. Okay, our next questions. Number 16, using tongs, he took the hot iron from the fire and held it on the anvil. As the smith hit the iron with a heavy hammer, the anvil rang like a bell, and sparks flew like fireworks. All right, let's take a look. Which phrase from the sentence above is an example of a simile? I see the word similar in the word simile, so it tells how things are alike. A, held it on the anvil. B, using tongs. C, rang like a bell. D, with his heavy hammer. Our answer would be C, because rang like a bell tells us how the blacksmith hitting the anvil sounded like a bell, how they were similar in sound. Number 17, give 2 reasons why wild horses do not need horseshoes. Use information from the selection in your answer. I'm going to go ahead and type them all up. Let's go back and look and see why. That was at the beginning of the passage. Okay. It says for hundreds of years, horses, mules, and oxen have worn shoes. Oh, down here I see. These animals never wore shoes when they were wild. Let's find out why. There are several answers. Before the animals were domesticated, they didn't carry heavy loads. Okay. Nor were they asked to pull heavy loads, and they didn't travel miles on hard roads that wear down hooves. So those are our 3 answers that you can choose from and put in that area and put in that spot. Oh, and I see one more actually. We can say, here, let's go back and put these in. Okay, so our answers were, now you'll have to go back and copy back and forth. I'm just going to go ahead and type these. Okay, they don't travel on hard roads. Okay, that's 1. They don't have to carry heavy loads. Okay, we had 1. Oops, let me see. They do not have to carry, or I'm sorry, have to pull heavy loads. And if you also put something about they did not need traction, that would be okay. So 2 of those, any 2 of those will work for us. All right. How are horseshoes and mule shoes different? A, they are made out of different materials. B, they are different shapes. C, they are different lengths. D, they are used for different purposes. How are horseshoes and mule shoes different? Let's go back and look. Okay. Okay, it says here a horseshoe is usually shaped like a U. A mule shoe is similar but longer and narrower. Okay, so we can even see in these pictures they look different. So our answer would be B. They are different. Oh, let me check my answer key really quickly. Oh, and actually, they aren't different shapes, but they are different lengths. Okay, all right, so C. 19. According to the selection, part of a blacksmith's job was to make shoes for horses. What was the other part of the blacksmith's job? A, to train mules, B, to repair things, C, to deliver milk, or D, to race horses. The only one that makes sense to me is B, repair things. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it, and then I'm going to look back and prove it to myself. Okay. See if we can find the part about the blacksmith. Okay. Okay, here we talk about children gathered at the blacksmith. Oh, he made and repaired implements for farm and home. So we were right, he repairs things as well. Which statement is an opinion about the selection? A, children love to watch blacksmiths. B, oxen need 2 shoes to protect each hoof. C, horses were used to transport people and goods. D, horseshoes protect the horse's feet. Our answer would be A, that they love the blacksmith. Not all children might. Number 21, when the shoe is properly shaped, the smith plunged it into a tub of water. The hot iron sizzled and steamed as it hit the cold water. What is a synonym for the word plunged? A, walked, B, carried, C, dipped, D, shaped. And our answer would be C, dipped. Okay, and our last ones. Compare how horses were used in the city and how they were used in the farm. Complete the chart with the information from the selection. Let's look back. Okay. Okay, I see before the days of automobiles and 18-wheel trucks, horses were used to transport people and goods. Okay. They pulled stagecoaches and heavy freight wagons. On the farm, they plowed fields and harvested crops. In cities, they pulled milk wagons and bread wagons. Okay, so you'll have to look back and forth and type yours. I'm just going to go ahead and type it in. Okay, what they did in the city. Here are all of our choices for what they did in the city. You could have pulled milk wagons, pulled freight wagons, pulled bread wagons. You could also have transport people, pull heavy loads. Okay, on this side, on the farm, you could have harvested crops, plowed fields, transport people, pull heavy loads. Okay, now transport people and pull heavy loads would be correct in each, but you can only have it in one or the other if you made that choice. If you put it on the city, you cannot have it on the farm. Okay, and number 23, which of these is an example of cause and effect from the selection? Animals pull heavy loads and travel on hard roads. These animals wear shoes. Horses' shoes are forged from iron. Horses' shoes are nailed to the bottoms of their feet. Teams of large horses pulled stagecoach. Horses, mules, and oxen were used on farms to pull the harvest. D, the blacksmith used his forge and anvil to do all kinds of work. He made and fixed the tools people used. And our answer for that one would be A. They wore shoes because they pulled heavy loads and traveled on hard roads. All right, boys and girls, there you go. There's all of your answers. Have a wonderful day.